So today I want to show you how to use the new workshop with a controller. A lot of people have recently asked me to upload such a video. I have already explained it in my controller tutorial video, but today I will go over the whole process in more detail. In general, if you watch this controller tutorial, then you can follow any of my mouse and keyboard tutorials. Controller users must usually only make 2 to 3 adjustments, so if you haven't seen it yet, then definitely consider to give it a try. Now let's start with today's video. Before you can get started, you must make sure that you follow the correct controller setup. That means that your gaming controller must be connected to port 1 or 2 of your Matrix. Xbox and PS4 users will also have to connect a second controller to port 3. The important detail here is that the controller you want to play with must be connected to port 1 or 2. After that, install the new firmware and manager. You can find links to both of them in the video description. Since a lot has changed with the new firmware, I also recommend to read the new manual guide. You can find a link to it in the video description. Next we have the configuration type. Your input at the top must be set to controller. You cannot use the Smart Actions Only option because it doesn't use a smart translator. So please make sure to pick the left option. You cannot change the input type after the configuration has been created. If you aren't sure what option you have chosen, then please create a new configuration. The output doesn't matter. You can select any option that is supported by your gaming platform. In your configuration, you must make sure that your stick is selected as the aiming source. You can of course also use the gyro if you want to. The workshop won't work if you don't have an active aiming source. At the top, you must now take care of the in-game settings. Those must be identical to the settings shown in the XIM forum. Do not use any other settings. You can later adjust your stick sensitivity through the XIM configuration. Do not do that through the in-game settings. Next, let's go into the button bindings. For the workshop to properly work, your role assignments at the bottom of the binding list must be correct. You can find them in the advanced settings. ADS and shooting must be bound to the correct triggers. After that, ensure that you do not have any aim SAB active. For accurate workshop results, set it to 0. You can later add it again after your workshop result is done. At last, disable all fire actions in your button bindings, except for the one you will use for the workshop. Since I use automatic bindings, I have no duplicate fire actions. The next requirement is to delete your analog trigger binding. It will otherwise overlap with the workshop. To do that, I will open the automatic bindings and untick the right trigger. If you use manual bindings like in this video, then please delete your analog trigger. You can do that by clicking into the binding. As you can see, there is no workshop option. Delete it by clicking the option at the bottom. Let's switch back to my original manager. The next step is to create a new button binding. If you want to use your right trigger, then pick a right trigger position binding. Analog right trigger bindings cannot access the workshop. Once you have created it, pick the fire action from the list. Next, you can select how far you must press the trigger to activate this. I will set it to a hair trigger, so I will move the slider at the top to 1%. This means that when I press the trigger by 1%, my weapon will start to shoot, and the workshop result is active. At last, open the Smart Action Manager at the bottom and click on the workshop icon in the top right. From this point onwards, everything is the same as in my other 2 workshop videos, so you can watch them now and follow their steps with your controller. At last, if you want to save workshop results for several weapons in one configuration, then watch the following video. It will show you how to handle lots of weapons within one configuration by using groups. Each group will have its own workshop result. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button or maybe even subscribe to this channel to not miss out on any of the upcoming videos. Also, contrary to popular belief, this channel is not an official XIM channel. I run this channel in my free time to bring you guys the latest XIM news and tricks. So if you want to support what I do, then maybe consider to join the YouTube channel membership. Channel members usually get around 1 to 4 weeks of early access to all new videos. Plus, we also have a nice little Discord to discuss XIM settings and other stuff.
But that's about it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will maybe see you in the next one.